Hi, thank you all for coming here tonight.
Sound.
Okay.
I want to say thank you for everybody coming on. And before we start the proceedings for CALEXIT CON 3.0, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on indigenous land. This is Tongva land. It was taken from them through a conscious genocide by Americans who militarily gunned down all of the Latinos who stood against them, and then instituted a campaign of genocide, including big hits like 50 cents per head for an adult and 25 cents per head for a child. And they were brought to Sacramento, and that is the current California government that did that. I want to thank everybody from America who was brought in by the Transcontinental Railroad and then immediately started to disenfranchise Latinos, say that Asians couldn't own property, commit a genocide against indigenous, and introduce segregation against African Americans. So, thanks, America. Now, I'd like to talk about something where we failed in the CALEXIT movement. And the reason I say that is just to say we can do better. We have not, in the CALEXIT movement, done a good job on reaching out to millennials or anyone aged 28 to 16. And the sad fact is that when you talk to people over 65, a third of them are interested in CALEXIT. But when you talk to people under 30, 2/3 or 70% of them are open to CALEXIT. And that is the group that we have not done a good job reaching out to it. And that's mostly because a lot of us in the CALEXIT movement are pushing 40 or around there. And, we may think of ourselves as very hip. You can see I'm not wearing a tie, but we don't know how to speak in the tone, the language of people 28 and under. I mean, I just learned how to use the phrase on fleek appropriately, and then I was told nobody does that anymore. So
That's the trouble.
that's the problem. So I want to say to everybody in CALEXIT, we need to do a better job of bringing in people who are 28 and under, and this is our opportunity. Look at how big our movement is now. We got a third of California into it. And that was without us reaching out to the youth, who 2/3 of them are into it. So we haven't even touched the main mine of potential supporters. Imagine if we did. Now you're looking at 2/3 of California supports CALEXIT. So with that, I have a speech from a youthful person who supports CALEXIT and wrote the speech. He wanted me to give it. And this brings me up to my second point. This is the reason why we have these conferences, to make it safe for you to talk about CALEXIT. When we were really big in 2016, 2017, I can't tell you, every single place we went to in California, NorCal, SoCal, the story went like this. 3 people would walk up. One of them would say, I'm only with these other 2, and I hate your idea of secession. One of them would say, I don't know, tell me more. Why are you doing this? And they were open to it. And the third one would say, oh my God, I didn't know anybody else thought about this. I've been thinking about this for the last 15, 20 years. I thought I was the only person. So I didn't say anything because I was tired of my family and friends looking at me like I'm a nutbag. So when we had a third of Californians open to this, it allowed a lot of us to freedom to speak when we were scared. In a modern democracy, with free liberty and free press, and people are terrified to express their opinion? Yeah. And now, the very group that we need to reach out to is terrified to express their opinion. I have met numerous 20-year-olds who told me, I'm into this, I can't say anything or join your Facebook page or even like your Facebook page because I am, quotes, terrified that the colleges will find out and I will be denied access to a good university. Now, I thought that my tax dollars went to pay for public universities to encourage free thought, and free debate. Guess not. Many youth are terrified that they will be punished for expressing how they feel. We, as CALEXIT, have to obliterate that if we're going to get the millennials and the youth on. So I want to tell everybody in the CALEXIT movement, we need to figure out how to get these people on, and we need to figure out how to make it where they feel safe to express their opinion. Because the person who gave me the speech isn't here out of fear of expressing her opinion. about the way a government should be formed through a legal form. She didn't say, let's burn things down, let's round people up and shoot them. She said, I agree, we should have an initiative process and vote. What a monster to express such an opinion. That has to be fixed, or we cannot tap into this reservoir of people, at all. And if we don't do that, we're denying ourselves the numbers that'll put us above the 51% threshold. So you want to win? Help me figure out how to make it safe for these people. And without that anymore, here's the speech. This is from a 20-year-old. Look around the room and guess the age of the people sitting next to you. You'll find that they're probably over the age of 30. And all these people have different political reputations, or maybe none at all. All of you probably have experience with the government. You all know how the law works. The reason you're here is because you want to make a difference in your community, our communities. But there are more people who can spread the word and rise up. And it's probably not who you would expect. Gen Z, the title for the generation who fully grew up in an era of advanced technology, such as smartphones, fast computers, VR, and Bluetooth. Many may think of this generation as selfish, rude, and screen addicted. But there's more to this generation than you might know. For instance, the screens they seem so glued to are connecting them to the entire world, making them feel more united than any other generation. In an instant, they see news about the world and help tragedies by creating a donation page with a few clicks. They want to do it. 2. A study in the United States shows that 70% of Gen Zers want to become entrepreneurs as adults. That's the most independent, go-getting generation we've seen in a while. So why aren't we taking advantage of that? Yeah. There are many problems in the world: terrorism, greed, homophobia, racism, sexism, and the list goes on. Many have heard that the world isn't fair since they were young by their own parents, that you have to work extremely hard in this country to be successful. And no, it's not fair. It's not fair that Californians are taxed higher and higher for the benefit of the people they don't even connect with anymore. We now, as a state, have money taken from us so that other states can have it. Gen Z knows this unfairness and can help in many ways. This new generation influences our society much more than you know. Protests are happening all around the world for many different reasons: climate risks, mass shooting, advocating for LGBTQ, and women's rights, just to name a few. These are all being led by teenagers who feel wronged by the world. I think we've all seen that recently. I know a lot of you talked about Greta. Yeah. Like it or not, these people are in the media more and more, and it's time we ask young Californians what they think is right. This starts with spreading information. Can we get the screen to go? It went dark. I can't read that. Okay. This starts with spreading information about the movement to them. How do we do this, you ask? Social media, Instagram, and Snapchat. To be specific, as of July 2019, it was found that 15% of global active Instagram users were women between the ages of 18 and 24. More than half of the global Instagram population worldwide is aged 34 years or younger. 41% of teenagers surveyed stated that the photo messaging app was their preferred social network. It is important not to overlook the type of communication as a fad. Imagine if we reached out to these people and they listened. Some teens have thousands of followers on social media. It is unwise to ignore the growing influence of young people in our society and instead, for the first time, ask them for help. I'll leave it there. Please ponder, and thank you very much.